G'day guys, Mark from the Hunters Campfire, and today I want to talk to you about my meat processing kits. Now I've got two kits, one that lives in a backpack and one that lives in the back of my truck. Now I do use them together, but primarily if I can get the truck to the animal or the animal easily to the truck, I'll rely on the bigger truck kit. If I have to do field work before I can get it back to camp, then I'll primarily rely on the backpack kit. There is some interchangeability between the two kits, but they do also have their own separate components. Most of the truck kit lives inside this old Plano waterproof box, but there is other components to it, namely my gambrel, which good friend Darcy put together for me. And instead of a reciprocating saw, which a lot of guys use, I still use an old or an older style bone saw. 40 bucks, will cut through deer, no problem. Doesn't require power, doesn't require charging. Does require a bit of power, just by you. Very good and very handy tool to have. And that's not rust. That's staining on the blade. So it gets cleaned, but the blades do stain over time. But still very, very good use for a tool in the scrub. So inside the box, I have a selection of Allen's game bags. I like these particular game bags. They're synthetic, so they're not a calico bag. They wash easy. They don't seem to hold smell. They're big. These are for elk, which I find really, really good size for red deer. And they're not too expensive, so you can over time build up a kit of them and share them between both the backpack and the truck kit. Also carry a selection of Ziploc plastic bags for tidying up. If I might want to separate, say, organs, I might want to save a heart or something like that, I'll probably put it in a plastic bag rather than the game bags. Part of that kit too is some of the really important stuff for me is my lovely wife some time ago bought me a butcher's glove, a metal butcher's glove. Now I'm a lefty, and it seems that most butcher's gloves are made for a left hand, for a right hand knife use. So I do wear this one kind of upside down, as it were, but it has protected my hand on more than one occasion. So whilst I'd like to carry it in the field, I don't, because it adds to weight. But as soon as I get back to camp, if I can, I put this on. Working in concert with the gloves, little meat hooks. Rather than put my hand on the animal, I'll just use a little meat hook. They're great for all sorts of things. They're great for hanging bags once you're finished. They're great for, with a bit of paracord, giving yourself a third hand, or as you know, as I said, getting your actual hand away from an area that you're cutting. So I've got a few of those in this particular truck kit. But the centerpiece of the truck kit is my Benchmade meat crafter knife. So this is that longer bladed Benchmade knife that came out a little while ago. This thing's fantastic. I really can't talk highly enough about Benchmade knives and how good they are, and this is no exception. So this has replaced a number of old, more I suppose commercial boning knives. I'm just using that, sits in the kit now, and I just use that for most applications. So working in concert with the truck kit is my backpack kit, or the field kit. Now it lives in the Allen's game bag, the original bag that those various game bags come in. The reason I put everything in there is because, one, it's a very handy storage for it all, keeps it all together, but two, when you're in the field, the first thing I do is I hang this in a tree. So I know where my gear is and I can see it and I don't lose it, because that can be a real challenge when you're butchering a deer on the side of a hill. So keep everything together in this highly visible bag. Okay, so what's in the bag? Well, again, as we said before, game bags. These are nicely folded up now. I usually carry between 2 and 4 in the bag depending on what game I'm looking for, and also what I intend to do. If I tend to, it's summertime and I'm going to be pretty quick with the meat harvest, I might only grab hindquarters and forequarters. If it's a bit cooler and I can, I'll take more bags and try and take more meat out. Plastic bag for rubbish, and also again, if I want to take something special like a heart or some of the other organs, I'll keep it separate. Now, as I said, this bag kind of works in concert with the bag back at the truck. So this is where you start to see things like gloves. I use these reusable heavier gloves. The main reason is I'm still unable to successfully put on those surgical latex gloves in the field. You know, I'll go through 3 pairs, I'll be puncturing them with my fingers, they won't fit on properly. So I've gone to just a simple supermarket bought rubber glove with the material backing. They work just as effectively, they keep your hands just as clean, and you can actually wash them and reuse them, and more importantly, they fit better. And we're talking a little bit about hygiene now. So in this kit, which again I might use with the later back at camp, is I carry some wipes. These are particular flushable wipes. I don't really care. I just carry wipes because often we don't have water around, or it's scarce. So I try to use these to keep things clean. In that kit, so now we have the paracord. This is unraveled, but got some paracord in case I want to tie something. And working again with my single hook that I carry in this kit. You know, I might want to create a third hand for myself. I might want to position the animal in a certain way. Paracord and the hook allows me to do that. Getting into the business end, the chopping end of the job, there's 2 items I carry. One is, again, another Benchmade knife. This is Steep Canyon. Probably the best field knife I've ever owned. I know I said that before about the other Benchmade knives, but that's it. I've been doing this for some time now, and I own a lot of knives, probably too many. And I've found over the last few years that Benchmade's starting to really produce products that work well with me. It's light, it's easily maintainable, it's blaze orange, I don't lose it. Working in concert with the Benchmade is a outdoor edge. I think it's a zip and flip, or a flip and zip, little bone saw. I tend to cut the pelvis. I tend to remove the guts downhill, as I call it. So what I do is, if I can and if I need to, I'll open up the pelvis, and I'll use this to open up the pelvis. What I really like about this one, blaze orange. 2, all metal, easily washable. 3, it doesn't actually have any point. So it's not impossible, but it's hard to do any unintended damage to an organ while you're ripping through bone. And to keep everything together, I use the Work Sharp sharpener, which I carry with me. Now this is the one made for Benchmade knives, so it's at 14 degrees. And it works really well at keeping them field sharp. It's got a ceramic rod and a faux leather strop. So with those 2 items, as in the rod and the strop, you can keep that knife very, very sharp in the field. And again, when I get back to camp, this is the same angle pitch for the meat crafter. So it all works together. So I don't need more than 1 sharpener. So that's about it for me. 2 kits. One sits in the truck, one sits in the pack. One's all about convenience and power and, you know, getting stuff done. One is the compromise between what I need to carry. But working together, I'm able to harvest my meat, get it out of the forest, get it out of the tree line, get it back to the truck, get it back on ice, and then eventually get it home for processing and into the freezer. And of course, in the end, into the oven. So that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed this, and talk again soon.